Hi, welcome to Sugarfolk Homemade, my podcast where I talk about all the things I have been crafting. If you are new here, my name is Michaela and I'm coming to you from a small town in western North Carolina where I live with my husband and our 4 kids. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I have not a whole lot to share today, but I have been making some slow and steady progress on some projects that I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys, as well as a couple thrifted things that I thought y'all might enjoy, so I'll be sharing that too. Before we get started though, you may have noticed if you have been on the channel before that I did not mention our kitty cat Maggie, and that is because unfortunately Maggie has passed away. My husband and I went out of town in January for my birthday, just him and I. The kids were with my mom for the weekend. And we had left her outside because she was kind of just acting funny, like kind of peeing in the house where she shouldn't be and just kind of acting a little bit weird. So we left her outside just in case she had any accidents. And when we came back, it looked like she was just asleep on the porch and she had passed away. We are not 100% sure what happened, but our best guess is that she had some kind of chronic issue going on inside that was not detectable, because she has been sick from the day we got her. We brought her home with antibiotics for an upper respiratory infection, and it just kind of seems like it would go away and then it would come back and go away and come back, and she would catch every little cold or virus, which before, I'd never even heard of cats getting colds, which I know now is common, but it was just kind of weird. And even when we adopted her, they told us that, or I could even see, that she was the most vocal and the most needy kitten that they had. Why I thought that should be the one that I brought home, I don't know, but that's the one I picked, and they were right. She has always been very needy and very vocal, and now I think it may have been because she was uncomfortable. Maybe she was in pain or, just hurting in some way. So everything kind of lines up to make me believe that she had some kind of chronic problem that was undetectable because, like I said, she'd been to the vet before, and she had just gotten spayed not that long ago. And so they had given her the once over, and it just kind of came out of nowhere, and it was really sad. But the kids weren't here. It was just me. I found her. So I'm glad that they didn't have to experience that. Of course I cried because she was my little kitty. And maybe one day we will get another cat, but for now we're just kind of taking some time off. And the kids took it pretty well. We kind of went back and forth on what to tell them, and we just decided it's better to just tell them the truth, and they'll process it. We'll help them process it if they're grieving and all that, because they loved her. And so it's been fine. And this isn't the first time they've had to deal with some sort of grief, because my husband's dad passed away a year and a half ago, and so they've been saying that Maggie is in heaven with Papa, which is the sweetest thing. That brings them comfort to think that. And when they say that, my husband and I just kind of giggle, because his dad did not like cats. He actually claimed to be allergic to cats, and we don't know if he really was or if it was just because he didn't want to be around them. So we kind of giggle when they say that, but yeah, she's in kitty heaven now. And I'm confident that she's not hurting anymore, because it really seems like maybe she was just not feeling well the whole time that she was alive. But anyways, now that we've got the sad, bad news out of the way, I just couldn't let that go unspoken, because you guys know she would always kind of pop in, or you could hear her meowing in the background, and so you would know that she's not here. But anyways, on to the content. If you stuck through that, thanks. I'm sorry that it took a little bit longer than I planned. But anyways, I wanted to show you guys what I'm wearing, because this is actually something that I found at a thrift store. I did not make it. But I like to go thrifting, and I think a lot of you do too. And I think I've shared some thrifted things on here before, and that's just kind of a fun part of it. So I thought I would show y'all. So I got this little dress at a Goodwill in Asheville, North Carolina. In the winter, I believe. I mean, it's still winter, but like it was a few months ago, and I haven't been able to wear it because it's short sleeves. But then I realized, duh, put a cardigan over it and you can wear it. So I'm wearing it today. It's just this really cute vintage little dress with a little keyhole thing here. And it's got some ruching back here, and it's got little pockets, and it's a little bit big. Like, I think this is supposed to be tight, but it works, and I just think it's really darling. I am a big lover of floral, vintage, and dresses in general, so this was a perfect, just a perfect find for me. And then also, I did not find this recently, but this is something that I have gotten from a thrift store, and I thought you guys might like it. This is a little watch. The batteries are actually dead, but I wear it as a bracelet. And it has a little, the face is like a little quilt block. It may be hard to see the details, but I just think it's so sweet. And unfortunately, this band, it's really old, as you can imagine, but it's gotten kind of stiff, and then where the hole that the previous owner would use, where that was bent so much, it's about to break in half. And I had to make a new hole for myself because I have like the world's smallest wrists. I'm not even kidding. They're about the size of my 4-year-old's wrist. They've always been small. It's kind of weird. But anyways, I had to make a new hole. And I'm hoping that since I'm not pulling on that part anymore, where the other hole was, that it'll last. But if not, I may see if I can find someone to put a new band on it, because I just really like this face, and I should put a battery in it so I can actually use it as a watch. And then one more thrift find. I did not find this, but a lady at my church, a dear friend named Olga, you may be watching this, Olga. If you are, hi, thank you. She gave these to her friend Nora, who also goes to my church. Hi, Nora, I know you watch sometimes. And she brought them to me this past Sunday at church, and they're these cute little mittens. Aren't these so cute? I think they might be for a child, because they're kind of small on me, but at the same time they do fit. I mean, I have kind of small hands, so it works out. I just think they're so cute, and I think that they're wool because they're pretty itchy, but I just think they're cute. And I could always use some mittens. It actually hasn't been very cold here recently. It's been getting a little bit warm, but the cold is coming, and I'm sure we'll have at least one snow this year, so this will be good to have, because I don't currently have any like actual gloves or mittens, so very handy. Thank you, Olga and Nora. Okay, now into the knitting content. Thanks for sticking around, like I said before, if you went through all that. So I have 2 finished objects actually, but one of them I have already gifted. It was a muscle burr hat for my stepdad, and I showed it in the last episode, so you would have seen it then. I don't have it now because I already gave it to him, but I finished that and it fit him perfectly, and then I did cast one on for myself, which you'll see in just a little bit. So the first finished object that I have is my Sugar Plum Fairy socks. This is just a vanilla sock, just stockinette, and I did a slip stitch heel flap. And this was a gifted yarn. You can't tell in here. I just said tail instead of tell. Sorry. Does anybody else get words like that mixed up? I'm really bad to mix up. I did it on the last video too. Well and whale and tail and tell, like those kind of words. I kind of use them interchangeably without noticing it. Let me know in the comments if you do that too, because sometimes I don't notice it and someone will be like, did you just say whatever you said? And I'm like, probably. Anyways, so these actually have some shimmer in it. You might be able to see if I move it with the light. It's hard to see, but these were like my Christmassy socks this year. Finished late, but that's because I didn't start them until after Christmas. But I just thought they're really sweet. There's a little bit of pink in there, so I used pink for the heel and the toe. However, I don't particularly like this pink yarn because it just seems really thin, in comparison to this, which is just a regular fingering weight sock base. And this is Hobby's Happy Feet sock yarn. And I don't know, it just seems really thin. And on the heel, you can see, like, and it could be my gauge too. I think my gauge is loosening up over time. But you can see it's just kind of spotty, and I think I might just go in and reinforce the heel with the same yarn, but just, you know, to put a double layer in there, because the heel is where I wear out the quickest. In fact, I just had to fix the heel on my other pair of socks because I wore holes in them. You know, it gets to where all you can see are the plastic lines of the yarn. And yeah, so, and I wear holes in them really quickly, so I want to patch them as soon as I can and get the most life out of them. I would never just throw them away without at least trying to make them good again. So yeah, I finished those, and I immediately cast on another pair of socks for my friend Sarah, which I mentioned in the last podcast that I wanted to make her some socks. So I am using Barnyard Knits Pastel Sunrise. That's a sock base, 75 merino, 25 nylon. This was a gift yarn, and I sent her a couple colors to choose from, and this is the color that she chose. So this is a really pretty pastel purple that has some little flecks of yellow and brown and just different tones of purple in there. And I just started these this morning, so I've got like 4 rounds of the ribbing done. And I have not decided 100% yet what pattern I want to do. I don't want to do just the vanilla sock because I just did that and I'm kind of bored of the vanilla sock. So I think I'm going to do this pattern by this Handmade Life. I forgot what it's called, but I'll put a picture and the name of it over here because it looks pretty simple, but it's still pretty, and I think that it would look nice with this color. So I'm working on that for her. They live a few hours from us, and they come to visit sometimes, and we go to visit them sometimes, and we're hoping to go visit them this spring, so I'll definitely have those done by then. We're thinking sometime in March, hopefully, so I gotta get those done for her so I can take them with me to get to her. And next, I will show you guys my muscle bar hat. I'm really excited about this hat. I've never been the kind of person to wear beanies just because, well, one, most of the time my hair is short, and I feel like if I wear a beanie, I look like a boy, which is fine. But, and if it's not been this short, then it's usually like a bob, and then when I wear it, it just makes me look funky. I don't know. That is a dumb excuse. So I just always have a cold head. But after making the muscle bar for my stepdad, I was like, I have to make one of these for me. So I started it, and I'm holding a fingering weight and a mohair together. And these were both gift yarns. So the main base is Hypnotic yarn in the color, where'd it go? Sand Dollar, which looks like this. It's like a creamy with some light pink and some brown, like a taupey kind of creamy color. And then I've got the mohair to go with it, which is, what is the brand of this? Dang it. It's Aloft. I can see the name of the brand, but I can't remember what it is. And it's not on here. Anyways, Aloft lace weight. And it doesn't say, apparently I ripped this is only half of the tag. I don't know where the other half is, but anyways, it's very pretty. I showed it last episode. It's this really, really pretty, almost like corally pink color. So I thought that this beanie was going to come out mainly cream colored because of the main color yarn with just like a halo of the pink. But I was so wrong, and I am so happy because it looks so pretty. I cannot get over it. Oh my gosh. I love it so much. Are you ready? Are you ready? Brace yourselves for the beauty that is this. Ah! I love it so much. The way these colors go together is just beautiful. And oh my gosh, I love the yellow that peeks through. And this is my very first time ever using mohair. Oh my goodness, it is so soft. Oh, I love it so much. I know some people don't really care for mohair, but this is just, oh my gosh, it's a blessing to get to knit on this because it feels so good in my hands. I love it. And I mean, you can kind of see the halo there. So pretty. But these colors together are just absolutely gorgeous. I love it. It's like, kind of reminds me of cotton candy in a way. Also, this looks kind of big. It'll be fine. I'm so excited. I'm knitting the adult medium. Just because I was going to do the small. So my head measurement is right in between the small and the medium. And I figured it'd be better for it to be a little bit too big than small. Because I am currently growing my hair out. And the more hair you have, you know, head circumference gets a little bit bigger, right? And I have really thick hair, so I went up to the medium. So yeah, I'm really excited about this, and I'm using a US 4, I believe. Yes, US 4 for this gauge. I got mohair in my mouth. And the gauge is turning out really lovely. It's exactly what I was hoping for. It's very light. It's not dense at all, but it's still, the stitches are still close enough together that it's not too loose. So yeah, that's my muscle burr hat. We'll see how long it takes me to finish this. I'm finding that I don't pick up my stockinette projects as much because I'm actually usually kind of craving something to work my brain a little bit, if that makes sense. I love this so much. I cannot wait to finish it, and I cannot wait to wear it. I will be getting a lot of wear out of this because we are about to get some chickens. We've had chickens in the past when my oldest was a baby, and we had them for a year, maybe a little over a year. And we ended up selling them because I couldn't keep up with him and the chickens. So what makes me think I can keep up with 4 kids and chickens? I don't know, but I think I've got a better grasp on motherhood at this point, so I think it'll be fine. But anyways, I'm going to have to be going out there to check on the chickens and all that, so I'm going to need something to keep my little head warm. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to finishing this. And this mohair is just a dream. I want to knit with just mohair all the time. I saw that Inga from Knitting Traditions, this was a few episodes ago, she made a sweater or a top just out of mohair. And that makes me really nervous because I feel like I could not knit with that, like it would break, or that the sweater wouldn't hold up. But it was so pretty, and I can just imagine what that felt like to wear. It must have been so soft. Maybe one day. I do have enough of this mohair left to, I think I'm going to put it in with my ranunculus that I'm going to make here in a couple months. So that'll be exciting. Okay, next project I'm going to show you was actually, I don't know if I had this casted on the last episode or not. Maybe I did. These are the Spring Bound Mitts by Erica Husser. And these have been on my queue for a long, long time, and I've finally worked up the courage to start them. And they are these beautiful fingerless mittens, color work, all over color work. I love the palm side of this. That color work is a lot neater for me than this because this is very consistent because it's just a pattern repeat, whereas there's some longer floats in there and stuff. But is this not just beautiful? This pattern, I just don't understand how people can put pictures in patterns. Like my brain does not work that way. I could never do that. I'll follow the pattern any day, but I just cannot understand how people design patterns. So much talent. So yeah, these, this is the first one. Obviously, it's finished. And the second one, I'm about halfway, a little over halfway done. And now, I will admit, I have not been catching any floats. And as you can see, I'm putting it on. As you can see, up here, we have some pretty long sections. But it doesn't really make a difference for me. Like, nothing gets hung in there. I don't wear a big ring. I just wear my wedding band, so I don't have anything to get hung. And yeah, it works out, and it was a lot easier for me to not have to catch any floats. You can see kind of where I did magic loop, and you can see where I would go from one needle to the next because my tension would kind of pucker. And it, again, down here as well. I'm not that great at color work, but for just knitting for myself, I am not offended by my puckering tension, so it's all good with me. I just think these are so beautiful. And I mean, she even went as far to put detail on the thumb, and I mean the whole palm. It's beautiful. My watch is under there sticking out. Really, really like these. And the yarns that I used for these was the blue is a Cascade Heritage, and then the white and this is called Nutmeg, are just a West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply fingering weight. And I did go up one needle size, I believe. I'm using a US, what am I using for these? Because the needle's not on here, which means I used it for something. Yes, it is. I took them off the other day. Okay, I'm using a US 2. And the only reason I did that was because it called for 2.5 millimeter, which would be a 1, I guess. Yes, it called for, oh, that's a 2.25 millimeter. Okay, well, it called for a US size 1. And I don't think I have a US 1. Maybe that's why I didn't do it. So I just went up to the next one, and it works out because I think if I would have used a 1, they would be too small because they are pretty tight right around here. My color work tension's pretty tight, so I don't think they would have fit. I didn't do a gauge swatch, but just knowing me with color work, I think it was a good idea that I went up a needle size because they fit me perfectly. And I cannot wait to finish the second one. I'm going to be wearing these a lot. My hands get very cold, so there's even sometimes when I'm knitting in the house and I think, wow, I wish I had my fingerless mitts, because when your hands get cold, it's hard to knit because they kind of go numb and you can't feel as much. And sometimes I wish I had some fingerless mittens that I could wear while I'm knitting to keep my hands warm so I can knit effectively. And I'm going to show you guys the inside of this because I love seeing the inside of color work. To see all the floats. I just think it's so neat looking. To see the pattern inverted like that. And you can see these mile-long floats. That's alright. I'm not a professional and these are for me, so. And like I said, I don't have any kind of jewelry that's going to get hung in those because I just wear my wedding band for that reason. When I wear my actual like wedding ring on here, or my engagement ring that goes with my band, it gets hung on just everything and it drives me crazy. So I just like just the band. I will wear it like if we're going out somewhere. I usually wear it on Sundays to church, but just for being around the house stuff, I do not wear it because it gets on my nerves. And I'm sure there are other people out there like me in that regard. It also is a little bit too big, and so it kind of, sometimes it'll flip around and the stone will be over here and I can feel it and it just drives me nuts. So many side tangents when you watch my episodes. I just can't help it. You know, I'm with kids all day, every day. My whole life revolves around kids. And so when I sit down and I'm talking to adults, well, I'm not really having a conversation with you because it's one-sided for now anyways. But I just get excited to talk because I'm not talking to anybody all day but kids. And I do the same thing to my husband when he's at work. I'm constantly texting him all day. And then when he gets home, he probably is like wishing I'd be quiet because I just talk his ear off because I haven't had anybody to talk to all day. Except a bunch of 5 and 4-year-olds. Which I love talking to them, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I like to have a little adult to adult conversation, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I love when you guys comment, because then I feel like I'm actually having a conversation with you. Okay, next project is my freesia cardigan, and I showed this my last episode, and I'm making progress on it slowly but surely. This is one that I have to kind of pay attention when I'm working on it, so I don't just like pick it up here and there. I only pick it up when I have a certain amount of time that I can allot to it. But I really am enjoying this project, and I think that when I'm done with this, this is going to be probably my most favorite knit item. That's how much I like it, and I think the yarn is to blame for that. So this is what the freesia cardigan looks like. It's hard to see in this picture, but beautiful, beautiful detail. Another pattern that just blows my mind. I'm like, how do people sit down and, first of all, envision these things, and second of all, figure out how to make it come to life? Because that is beyond me. And I feel like that's a lot of times when people, it's usually people who don't knit, who will comment on how talented I am, or, you know, you knit so well, that kind of thing. To me, I'm like, no, I'm not the talent here. The talent is the people that are designing these things, because I'm just following orders. I'm just reading instructions and doing exactly what they say. And it's the creative minds that deserve all the praise, in my opinion. Of course, it still makes me feel good when people compliment me on my knitting, of course. But, you know. I've learned to accept the compliment and just say thank you. But in my mind, I'm still like, you should see some of the patterns these people create. Okay, anyways. This is my freesia cardigan so far. Somebody just shot a gun. And again. It's probably fine. Okay. Okay, but what are they doing? I don't know if you can hear it. 4, 5. Okay, this is getting weird. I mean, down here in the South, I guess, people shoot guns all the time. But it's usually like 1 or 2. Like, we don't live on a shooting range or something. Okay, that's done. Weird. Okay, anyways, back to the freesia cardigan. This is what it's looking like. You can see the beautiful bobble clusters. The light is kind of making this like, I don't know, it's kind of glaring on it. Here we go, that's a little bit better. I just love this pattern so much. And this yarn, oh my goodness, I just love it. I love this color. Probably won't look that great with my complexion because I am very pale. In fact, somebody asked me the other day if I was Irish. I think because I'm so pale. And I just said no. I mean, my dad's side of the family comes from that area, like ancestors, you know, generations and generations ago. So I don't probably have much Irish in me, but I just thought that was funny. So this yarn is the Sheepius Terrazzo Felted Tweed in the color Sassolino. And, I mean, you can see it's a pink with little blue specks, but it's kind of washing it out on the camera. Oh, it's so pretty. It's like a baby pink with little blue lavender specks throughout. I would say I'm about halfway through the body, and then I'll have to do the sleeves, of course, and then go in and do the button band. And I don't have any buttons yet for this, but I'm kind of looking forward to picking out buttons because I might choose something. I'll either choose something natural like wood. A nice wood button would be nice. But I also have the desire to do something vintagey. Or Amy from Noble Character Crafts did this once, where you make buttons with the yarn that you've used for the project, like those vintage, they look like those little vintage buttons. It's hard to kind of explain. I'll see if I can't find a picture to say what I'm talking about and put it in here, because I think that would look really nice, just to keep the same color, because I don't want anything with too harsh of a contrast, if that makes sense, because I don't want to take away from the beautiful design and the detail. But we'll see what I can come up with on that. I'm sure there are tutorials on YouTube I can watch to make those kind of buttons, and if not, maybe a light colored wood button, like something this color, this light wood. I'm sure I can find something. Okay, the next project I have is, oh, I always forget to tell you guys what needles I'm using and like all the specifics. I'm using recommended needles for that. And the next project, I'm also using recommended needles. We'll get that out of the way. This is my Advent yarn project, and this is the Color Craze shawl by, one moment, Tammy Gore. And of course, I'll leave the links to all of these patterns in the description. So this is using my Advent yarns from Christmas time that I got from Gem State Yarns. It was a Secret Garden themed Advent set of 12 mini skeins. So I picked out my favorites of the minis, and then I'm using a base color for this. And I did put it on a big long cord so I can, so I can show you guys. And then I just dropped a stitch already. Okay, 1 second. I don't have any needles on it, so it's kind of awkward to hold. Okay, we'll stretch it this way. This baby is big. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, I don't think my wingspan is quite wide enough. But this is what we're looking like so far. The bottom is curling up. There we go. This is a project that, and I even thought this on my last episode, it doesn't look that great on the camera. Like, I wouldn't see that and think, oh wow, that's pretty. But in person, it really is pretty. I promise. So you can see all the different colors. It really needs to be blocked too, so that that brioche will really pop out, and there's some straps down here that would pop. It just needs to be blocked, which it will when I'm done. So right now I'm doing another striped section, and then I believe there's a brioche section, and then there's just a solid color at the end. So I would say I'm about 70% done. Of course, the farther down you get, the wider it gets, so the longer it takes. So even though there's not much row-wise left, it's still a lot of knitting because it's getting bigger and bigger. And this is the style of shawl that I wouldn't call it a crescent shape because it's not really crescent, but it's very long. I've seen a lot of pictures where people wear it actually as like a scarf that's tied because it's that long, but it's also nice and thick too. So that's what I really like about this pattern. And like I said, the camera does not show, at least in my opinion. I mean, it looks fine, but I think in person it's beautiful because you can see the details of all the colors, and also being able to feel it is a whole part of this shawl because the gauge is really loose, but it's very squishy because there's a lot of garter stitch. And it's just nice. It'll go with a lot of stuff because, I mean, there's like every color in here. And I'm not one to shy away from color. I love wearing all colors. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. I was going to post a picture on my Instagram of this, but again, I just kept trying to take a picture and I just couldn't make it look good. And like it just looks kind of muddy. But in person, it's so pretty. And I think after it's done and I can block it and then I can style it, then I can post pictures and it'll look nice. But yeah, it is pretty as promise. Okay, last thing that I want to share. I'm forgetting something. Oh, I forgot to bring my tulip blanket over here. I showed it last episode. It's just a crochet tulip blanket. But I've only done a couple rows more on that, so it's not even worth showing at this point. I will show it next time, and hopefully I'll have a little bit more completed on that. I just forget about it, honestly. Crochet, I love to crochet, but I like to knit more. So crocheting has kind of taken the back burner, but I do want that blanket for spring, so I will get a move on that. So the last thing that I wanted to show you guys is a yarn acquisition that I am so pumped about. I can't even tell you guys how excited I am. I am just waiting to finish a project so I have a cord that I can start this project, because I don't have a cord that I can put it on right now, and I've already taken all of my other like languishing whips. I have taken them off the cords and put them on yarn to free up cords, but then those cords have been used for other things, and I need a cord. I could just buy another cord because they're not expensive, but I'm just telling myself, just finish one of these and then yeah, we'll be good. So hopefully soon this will be started. But this was a knitting kit for the Pressed Flowers cardigan. I did make the Pressed Flowers shawl. Was that a whole year ago? Surely not. It's been a while, but not, I mean, I don't know. It's been a while, but I did make that shawl, and I absolutely love it. And this was a gift from a friend, and oh my gosh, she let me pick out the colors in the kit as well. And it was so hard to choose the colors because there were so many beautiful different combinations, and I just could not, I don't know, I'm always torn between, should I go with neutral so it matches everything, or really be me and get the colors. So I went with one that kind of felt like an in-between. So I've got the color, but it's also kind of neutral at the same time. So feast your eyes on this beautiful set. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, so I'll show you what these are. This is the Barocco Lanus Light 100% wool in the color, darn, it's just the number, 78134. And it is this deep green, which is just beautiful. I love a good green. Absolutely beautiful. And the contrast color, so this will be the color of the cardigan itself, and then the flowers that go throughout will be this. This is Spin Cycle Yarns dyed in the wool in the color Pick Your Poison. I cannot express to you how excited I am to try this yarn. This is one of those yarns that like I've been dreaming about because it is so beautiful. And same with like hand spun yarns. I just love the way they change colors, and I don't know, I'm so excited. I'm so blessed. The person that gifted this to me is such a blessing, and I could not be more thankful. It is, oh, I just can't wait. I cannot wait. So yeah, this, I don't even know how to explain it. So it's actually picking up pretty good. There's gray, but the gray is almost like a purpley gray. And then you can see, I wish I could get it to like really focus on it. There's some purple, and then there's this almost mustardy, I don't want to say yellow because it's not yellow. It's more of like a mustardy green. And I just think that it is going to look absolutely beautiful against that. Such a lovely contrast, but and it'll be colorful, but it'll still be neutral, you know? So I'm really, really looking forward to casting this on. I have not even bought the pattern yet. I need to do that and just go ahead and print it out and have it with it waiting for me, because as soon as I get a cord open, I'm starting this. I'm very, very excited. And this yarn just feels, oh, it feels so soft. Oh, I'm so excited. This is apparently the year of the cardigans for me, because I don't think I even have a sweater on my list for this year so far. I don't really have anything on my list. I'm kind of just going with the flow, using what I have. I'm trying to use up what I have in my stash because, as you guys know, a subscriber sent me a huge box of yarn, which I gave a lot of it away to my sister-in-law to kind of share, you know. But I still have quite a few skeins in there, and I want to knit through the majority of what I have this year before I buy anything new. And I've got plenty to keep me busy, which is really nice. But as far as like the yearly plans, I usually have like a long queue of things. And if you look at my Ravelry, I do have a queue, but I have not been keeping up with it. My queue is just in my brain. I have a few things that I want to get done, but for the most part, I'm kind of just flying by the seat of my pants and knitting whatever I feel like knitting. I think Ruth, from Ruth Loves to Knit, she actually started a hashtag, and I forget what it is. I'll see if I can find it and I'll put it here. But I need to use that hashtag because she was talking about how there's just no pressure to knit a certain thing or a certain number of things for the year. Just knit what you want to knit. Knit what makes you happy. Because that's what it is for. You know, it's a hobby, at least for me. I mean, I know some people it may be part of your like making a living, but for me, this is just my hobby, and it's just what makes me happy. And so I want to keep it that way. I want to knit only things that make me happy, whether that be knitting gifts for other people, which I will say I'm starting to like gift knitting. I think because at this point I've knit quite a lot of things for myself, and I feel like I have enough. Of course, I can always use more hand knit sweaters, and socks. Really all of it, you know. I'm never going to stop knitting for myself, but I'm feeling more apt to knit for other people now. And I think that's just because over time I have been knitting things here and there for other people, and I'm realizing that when I see them using those things, it just makes me so happy, and it does my heart good. Like the socks that I've knit for my friends, when I'd see them wearing them, I'm like, oh, you're wearing my socks. And it just makes it worth it, you know? And when I gave my stepdad his hat, he loved it so much, and it fit perfect, and, you know, he couldn't wait to wear it, and that just made me so happy. So I'm just really looking forward to giving Sarah her socks and maybe starting something else for a friend. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. I did want to ask you guys, so I posted a video last week. I was just making yogurt and doing some things in the kitchen, and I just recorded it for the fun of it and posted it. So I wanted to ask you guys if you would be interested in any kind of like home style vlogs like that, because you know my channel is Sugar Folk Homemade. So from the get-go, I had it in my head that I would do kind of a plethora of things, knitting being one of them, of course. But we also love to garden. I love to bake. I just love to make things homemade, you know, and so I thought about incorporating some of that into my channel. Maybe filming the process of getting our chicken coop put up and getting the chickens, and gardening, and maybe a baking video here or there. I did think about doing a video on my sourdough, because I do make sourdough probably once a week. Yeah, so let me know if you guys would like something like that. Because I want to be able to post more consistently, but I can't post knitting every week because I just don't knit that fast. So let me know what you think, and yeah, until next time, God bless you, and happy knitting, and I will see you next time. Bye!